Just trying to remember. um. Ooh, we started. We live. Got that one ringy dingy. Was it Bob? I have a feeling it was Bob, but I'm going to check here in a second.
Okay. You checking your social meds for whatever gossipy tea you're gonna serve up.
Yeah, I feel like I saw something, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh.
What?
I so did not see her live tweets during this show.
Who? Bob, the drag queens?
Yes.
Oh
Like I'm
no.
looking at this right now. Like so 2 days ago. So I'm just reading these. So she's like, um, is a carrier wearing a boy wig? Kahana and Evie are trade. This is the horniest season ever. Layla McQueen. This is your season.
Oh
This she
wow.
says like honestly half the cast is trade, and she's got a gif of a guy fanning himself. Then she said, in my opinion, Brooklyn Heights won this challenge. And then so backtrack to her carrier is a carrier wearing a boy wig. She says, I'm talking about a wig in her confessionals.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Those are nice. That's fun. It was not Bob. I'm wondering if it was
Monet.
I feel hey.
The other Bob.
T- Girl. That's not fair.
They have a podcast called Sibling Rivalry, so you
I
know.
know. I know. I know. Oh, did you? Man, I can't see it. I don't see it. I must have been wrong.
Well, that's
Oh
okay.
well, it's okay. I'll be fine. I know I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody. But that's Twitter. You know, I can't remember, and I don't. I'm not going to look through my entire feed just to find that one piece. I
Agreed.
got time for that.
Ain't got no time for that.
Don't.
Oh,
All right.
I
Oh, what?
nearly
What?
forgot. Should probably tell the children's.
Mm-hmm.
How far back do I have to go? Probably far. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. I'm trying to cheat.
Uh-oh. Are you gonna got a couple? Copy this. Copying the same thing over again. Do 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 do.
Where? I mean, I know it's been 2 weeks, but good golly, Miss Molly.
You had a lot to say, apparently.
There we are. Down, all the way to the bottom, and paste. Dope.
Don't.
For
We
the
are.
premiere of season 11.
So, FYI, the pre-show is the trivia.
No, that I had the on-air pre-show
No,
image up.
not anymore. It's showing the pre. It's showing the trivia.
No, I know. I switched it to that while you were looking for the Bob thing.
Oh,
You was busy with your nose and your phone, so
I so was. Was. I will own. I was busy trying to find other queens talking about trash talking other queen. That's what I was looking for. For that shit. Oh wait, wrong page. There we go. And there we go.
and of course, the thumbnail and title are wrong in the chat. Whatever.
Because it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways, are you ready to kick things off?
I'm ready.
Wait, I should probably make sure our sound stuff works.
I hear it.
Good. So we're ready to get started. Anything else before I click play?
I think we're good.
All right.
RuPaul Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, boys, and everything in between. It is Cubs Out Loud Drag Race Tea Time, season fucking 11,
We got to use our toes now.
or other appendages. It is episode number 1 of the new season here at COL Drag Race Tea Time, aka Whatcha Unpackin. Like there ain't a double entendre hidden in that title.
No.
So for those of you that don't know about what we do here for this little YouTube video shindig that we turn into an audio podcast, my name is Gary. I'm one of the lovely co-star hosts of this show, and with me over here is...
Hey everyone, it's Damon. Hi. Hey Ginger, how are you? Miss Ginger Tea Time, I remember that name.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey girl, how you
Chat.
doing?
Hey.
It's good to have you back. You even get a little fan for that. Woo!
Woo! All right, but here we are. It's season 11.
Yes.
Here we go.
All right. So there's going to be a lot to do. We're going to go through talking about entrances a little bit. I don't know if we really want to do a whole breakdown of things because, you know, I think we can sum it up without really getting into stuff. But before we get into the meat of the show, there's that whole thing where you got to make a presence known when you walk in. So. All right, kittens, I hope you got your mugs of tea ready. By the way, the reason that we were a little late was because Auntie Gary had to go get a little something to put in the tea because I'm going to need this to get through this goddamn show.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. Ooh, that's way better now. Thank you.
I'm having an energy drink.
At this time of night? Oh, good gravy.
Well, I'll be fine. They don't give me as much energy as they claim. This ain't like a 5-hour energy. I'll be fine in like 2 hours.
Nice. Well, since you're all revved up and ready to go, Damon, what were your thoughts on the entrances for the beginning of season 11?
So I'm gonna put it very simple, and I'm gonna say, damn, that's a lot of queens. So as you're aware, we have 15 queens this season, which is a lot for I think it's a lot considering what we've had in years past. Don't get me wrong, I don't know. We've got we have a lot of New York representation.
That we do.
We've got a lot of Texas. And one of the things that is kind of new is we've got a couple of family members up in this joint, not just like the Davenports. Although there's a few.
A few?
Fucking Davenports.
Let's talk about the fact that they even said in the very show that season 12, the whole cast is going to be nothing but Davenports. I was like,
yes.
All right, I approve of this unofficial shade moment in the show because I was like, damn.
Yes.
How
many Davenports are there? Apparently a lot. If there's enough to make a season,
Oh,
at least
I
that.
think there's more than enough for a season. I think there's probably enough for a couple seasons. They could have
Yes.
their own offshoot.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we have three at least.
I don't
If I'm
know.
looking at my list correctly.
As the season,
Anyway.
as each episode goes by, we're going to put that trivia piece up in the beginning. And it is like, it's already, yay, as long as my arm, all this stuff. And we're only in the first episode about how this one's related to this one, and this one's drag daughter, and this one's drag niece,
Yeah.
and blah, blah. And I was like, oh, good.
So we've got
gravy.
a couple of, also, we've got some, so I know Kahana Montrese we know is Coco Montrese's drag daughter, but you told me that
Scarlet Envy.
Scarlet Envy is Pearl's drag daughter.
That is the word I saw on the internet. And you know how true that is when you can quote Abraham Lincoln. So there you go. These 15 queens include the return of a previous family member, Miss Vanessa Mateo. So technically 14 new queens, which makes the grand total of 11 seasons as 140.
Yeah.
So we are not that far off from people making jokes about 150, 160, queens. It's actually officially 140 now. So
It's been crazy.
yes.
Shocker, shocker, shocker. All right. So that's really it for me. There's just so many. And I will own everyone, just so you're aware. This is the first episode. I don't know everybody yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize names. I don't recognize faces really fully yet. Mm-hmm. Some we can probably very quickly forget because, they're gone. But that's neither here nor there.
Yes. So my comment on the entrances was, everyone got the memo? Question mark. Most of the looks were good. Most of the entrances were okay. People definitely had thought out, compared to many years before, what they conceptually wanted. But I felt like some people tried a little too hard. And so I don't know. Like, it's difficult to say. I think some people really nailed it, like in terms of what they were going to do, the image that they were going to project, like their first impression. I think that people don't understand that, like, you kind of make or break yourself for a couple episodes in the beginning of a new season based on when you come in, how you come in. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that, like, people are going to hate you or love you necessarily, but it speaks to the caliber of what you're expected to deliver. And that can be good and it can be bad. You could have a well-crafted look and rehearsed and blah, 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 and you got your catchphrase and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
But if you set the bar and then you kind of can't maintain it, then that, starts to become an issue as time goes by. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure, later in this episode. I want to recognize, before we move on to the next segment, that there is no RuPaul message. No screen. No everybody come walking over. They're all having a little kiki. They're carrying on. Vanessa, Vanessa. That's my new nickname for Vanessa Vanjie. So Vanessa is sitting there and she's talking smack like she's some, armchair quarterback about the rest of the girls as they come walking in. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, boom, Mama Ru comes walking in out of the blue. Yep. And I was like, oh, hello. This is new. I am very curious to see if they have done away with that segment for good. Because there was the controversy years ago about the original statement that was made when the image came up in the graphic, and then they changed it. And now we may not have it at all. Here we are,
season 11, and we'll see. We will see. Huh.
Yes. So we'll kind of see how that goes with that. That being said, Damon, you ready to move on to mini challenge?
Yes, let's.
Okay.
Which leads us to your very first photo shoot. Are you intrigued? Yeah! I thought so. Let's go.
15 queens enter.
Slowly one leaves.
and not in Miss Vanjie style, notably. But she did make a memorable mark.
So enough did.
Maybe some might call it a stain.
Well, later.
If you watch
That's
the
later.
episode, you'll understand. So we got 15 queens. Just so everybody knows, for a while, we're probably going to do them in alpha order because we're trying to remember who these bitches is and get their names right. And we're probably going to butcher it. So just be aware of that.
Yep. So
in this
for now.
case. So the mini challenge is a photo shoot with a twist. As Vanessa calls it out, she says, this is RuPaul's Drag Race. There going to be some like buffoonery, some shenanigans. Something's going to happen in this. It was not as drastic as in past seasons. I thought the twist was great, but not outlandish. Like they didn't have to perform with live animals. They didn't have to get into a dunk tank. They didn't have to jump into a ball pit. They didn't have to wash a car and be soaking wet.
They didn't have to wash a car.
Right.
Yep.
So just walking into Rue's apartment, which I thought was hysterical because I was like, girl, you got a lot of shit. And I don't mean like crap. I just mean a lot of stuff. Like it's very busy. Yes. Although my favorite moment out of this was when Rue took the Bianca Del Rio photo frame and put it face down on the credenza on that. I was like, oh, shade.
I'm surprised it wasn't Raven.
We'll talk about her in a little bit. So notably, all the queens have to come in one by one, have their photo taken, and Rue does this. Wait. There's something missing. And then she gave everybody the heads up when she was previously talking to the queens in the workroom that these sugar walls are haunted. And that previous like Rue family members may just pop in and out randomly throughout the season. I did catch that part. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of past contestants and winners reappearing throughout the season. This makes me very, very happy. And if it doesn't continue to happen, I'm going to be really irritated. So let's not be giving out no blue balls kind of anticipation stuff. Got it? Good.
Anticipation.
Yes, exactly. So so the mini challenge photo shoot with past drag race contestants. So go ahead.
So Gender says in the chat, she says, I didn't understand the goal of this mini challenge. I'm glad they're back, but I need a rubric because I have no clue what they were supposed to do. So the way, if I'm remembering correctly, is that the goal was, it was supposed to be their kind of dictating the shot, meaning the season 11 queen. So the goal was to make yourself stand out next to a Drag Race alum who, for lack of a better phrase, is very well known, blah, blah, blah. So, but it wasn't the photographer, it wasn't Rue directing where you go, it was, or what you do, it was the queen, the season 11 queen that was in the shot with the different queen. I don't think there was any, as far as I could tell, there wasn't any real like thought process to who they were paired with potentially. Although there might have been if you think hard enough.
Some of them were logical like matches to me, and then others I was like, well, that seems like a mismatch. There was a couple of them that I think they should have swapped differently, but that's possible. Who wonders what that could have been? Maybe it was like, oh, this queen is only available at this time, or whatever. Who knows? I mean, getting 15 different Drag Race alum to pair with 15 different current contestants. And notably, a lot of these queens are now based and living in LA. So
also true.
That's a whole other aspect of how this thing worked out. Because I know some people might have been like, why is so-and-so back? Like, and I was happy to see, all the faces, but I recognized, I was like, lives in LA, moved to LA, like, so, there was only one, I think, out of the whole bunch that I don't know for certain lives in LA right now. So, that to me kind of speaks like they probably make themselves available to World of Wonder, the production company, if there's stuff coming up. So they may appear in a pit stop video. They may, be available for actual production filming time. I don't know. So, but you ready to go through the photos as they were produced?
Yes.
So here we have Miss Kimora Black with our first drag race contestant, Kyria Chanel Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
It's an okay picture.
It's nice.
Kind of fun. I love the fact that Kimora is mean mugging straight to the lens. Like, no bitch. Like, I ain't having any of this.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my issues I noticed in some of these photos. It's like people don't know their line. Like, where to look. And I'm like, how hard is it? It's a photographer. He got a big old camera with a lens on it. Like, I mean, I realize it's not something sticking out of a hole in a wall, so maybe that might be a little confusing, like where to look, where to pay attention. But come on, like, it's photographer on a set. Just saying. Yeah. So I mean, it's okay. It's not necessarily super fantastic, but for me it was all right. Ariel Versace as a lovely toilet paper cozy cover in all this white and this big hair and her tiny little body with Eureka O'Hara. This is one of the ones that I thought was a little mismatched. I was like, I'm not quite sure why she's with Eureka. Eureka looks like she's falling over. Like she's tripping. She's about to fall. I don't understand. She's not as like poised as Ariel in this one for me. So I was like, huh? I'm not sure quite what the deal was. But I mean, Eureka's painted good and she looks good and she got the curve and swerve thing going on. In this case, Miss Brooklyn Heights, our Canadian Mountie or Mounter, I'm not sure which. I'm thinking Mounter, but that's just me. Is with Angina. I was so ecstatic that Angina was back. And people have been like kind of not gossiping, but the word on like social media and stuff has been that Angina needs to be back in an All-Star season. And she's even said that she's interested in it, but most of the time when they filmed, it just hasn't worked out for her. So perhaps she'll be in a future season of All-Stars. I would like that a lot, personally. But I loved how Brooklyn was like, I'm just going to pick you up and hold you. So I thought that was pretty good in that case. Then we move on to Honey Davenport with Manila Luzon, her aunt-in-law, I think is how that works. You're muted, Damon.
Her great aunt, like twice, as John Pauly put it, like her great aunt twice eliminated. I love that. Thank you, John Pauly. That made me laugh so hard this afternoon when I was watching the Extra Laugh recap. But and even so Manila in traditional fashion is always a character and always funny. She even made a joke about, there's all these winners on the thing. And she go, I guess I'll be over here. Like she just walks away. Like it's like,
well, Honey Davenport says, look at all these winners on the wall. And Manila's like, well, then I guess I better go over here. Like, yep. And I was like, damn, girl. Like she just did not miss a beat. But this is another example of like, it's a pretty good photo overall. Manila knows exactly how to look center to lens. I don't know where Honey Davenport's looking. She's kind of looking at the lens, kind of not looking at the lens. That's a very weird
picture. Like honestly, if I'm gonna be mean. If I take like Honey out of the picture, it's a really awesome picture of Manila.
The thing I find comical about the two of them is that both of their hands are covering the eyes of the dogs, the little statues that they have their hands over. I'm like, aw, the puppy's not allowed to see. So, but I was not a fan of Honey Mahogany's
Honey
Davenport. See, already. I should have not poured as much of my tea as I did of my little nip. Yeah, so Honey Davenport in this case, cute outfit concept. The boxy, like, hippie, don't know what was going on there. Just structurally didn't kind of work for me in that case. So yeah, then we move on to Kahana Montrese with Derek Barry. It's a cute picture. It looks like it's supposed to be more fun. Notably, Derek is not looking at the camera at all. Kahana got crazy eyes. I'm not sure what her intent is. I didn't care for this outfit. Kahana's got like these weird kind of linebacker shoulder patty things on top with the bra, and the just was a issue for me personally.
Hey, Derek. What you wearing?
It's like some strange capelet straight jacket number with a bra underneath. I don't know what she's doing.
They look like a... Oh, are you wearing those same tights you were wearing in the one thing? Kahana, maybe, perhaps.
Oh, Eric with the bird in the live chat. Alcohol. So fitting for Derek. Way to go, Eric. You got double shade fanned on that one.
Yes.
Yes.
Good for you.
For those of you that don't know, just go to Google, YouTube, and look up Derek Barry drunk at the Haters Roast. You will completely understand what that comment is now about. In this case. And then we get what is actually a good photo, but getting to this photo was quite problematic. This is Mercedes Iman Diamond with Delta work. I was shocked to see Delta come on to set because she has been for a couple of seasons now very busy doing Rue's hair. And granted, Rue is RuPaul Charles for this part of the recording of the show. So she's not actually, done up. But, and of course, Delta looks fucking flawless as she always does.
Of course.
Mercedes was just not understanding.
There was something going on. There was a disconnect between like what the challenge was and what she was wanting to do. And she just was very like quiet and surprisingly like unaware of the camera again. Like this is not a good picture. I mean, it's okay. There's some movement, which is nice, but for the most part, it's kind of, for her anyway.
It kind of, to be honest, it kind of looks like Delta grabbed her by the hair and made her sit down. Like she just yanked her onto that soft side.
Like, take this damn picture.
Right.
Mama said take this picture.
And of course, Delta's looking straight into leads. Mercedes, she's like, I don't know. Baby, they're called footlights. This is not literally put your foot up in the light. That's not how that works.
Head towards the light.
We will
towards the light.
We will circle back around to this issue about Mercedes and following directions and understanding stuff. Just wait, it's coming. Then we get to one of our favorite photos of the set. The one, the only Miss Nina West from the great heartland of the USA. She's
Ohio.
So well known in Ohio. I have heard of her
And
for years. I have not seen her in person. There has been many an opportunity that I could go see her. I'm really kicking myself in my big fat butt right now that I have not done so.
She looks really good in this, and that was the best part. And I love and guess who's with her? Look who was with her.
Look who showed up.
So my like just overall kind of comment with this one is like, oh my God, Raven, OMG Raven. We haven't seen Raven in a while, and there's been some talk about why that's the case, but we're not going to go into that right now. Or we will.
I was absolutely shocked to see Raven because Raven has not done Rue's makeup in 2 seasons. Well, a season and the beginning of a second season now. So no one else seems to be talking about it. I listened to 3 other podcasts about bi drag queens, including Rue girls. None of them are talking about Raven not doing Rue's face anymore. I was like, there's something going on here. So to see her
Yeah.
on set, I was like, well, apparently
Yeah.
she's not bad like Courtney Act or Willem. Sorry, I have something in my throat. So,
What
you
was
know.
that? What was that? Drink that tea. Get
There
that
we
tea
go.
down.
I know. I will say that Nina presented great when she came in. She thought she was first when in fact she was second because Miss Vanjie was deciding to be cute and hide in the corner. This color is bright. It pops. I thought the outfit fit her well. The hat is a little too slanted because it nearly fell off at one moment when she was in the
Yeah.
workroom. But she did really well. This picture looks fun, but a little confusing because she was force feeding little candies or mints to Raven. So I was like, I don't understand what that necessarily was about.
This is supposed to be the parent tablets. Take your tablets.
I can't go
I
on
don't know.
without my parent tablets. So yes. So the fact that she's wearing a beautiful, bright, lemony sunshine yellow dress is so dramatic in this very red and black scene that a lot of people kept kind
it
of
works so well.
blending into. And then we get to Plastique Tiara and Sonique. I
Yes.
think this picture
Yes.
is amazing.
I do too.
You and I said even before we started to go live that we're kind of surprised this didn't win.
Yeah.
So that was, a thing that was a surprise to us in this case. So Sonique looking amazing in this outfit. Both of them looking to camera, which means they know what they're doing. And I will admit, when Plastic Tiara made her entrance and came in, I was shocked. Because it's been a while since I've seen a queen come in which I was like, you look bio, girl. You very, 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 very fishy. And that is not a complaint or a criticism. I just was not prepared for this Miss USA, kind of contestant.
She caught me very much off guard. And she looks amazing. She just looks great. And I mean, this outfit is amazing. The dress, just this picture is so fucking great. The draping of her cape, or not a cape, but whatever it is on the bodice, the bottom of her, that's kind of draped over onto the couch to cover her legs just a little bit, but allows just a little bit of that sexiness in there. And then you've got Sonique above her, striking that pose. It just works so good together.
Yes. It's probably one of my all-time favorites out of this particular challenge set. And then we get to Miss Raja with an H, O'Hara, and Ginger Minge.
Next.
Girl.
I just...
this is where I will finally come in with my comment on the mini challenge. I said, be ready or be roadkill. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a flattened armadillo on the Texas highway in the heat. Ginger Minge is serving up some serious black, not quite goth glam. She's really doing well with this. I was quite happy with her presentation. Raja, on the other hand, I'm not sure about this outfit. I'm confused by the gray fabric for the sleeves and the back. And then, I thought the blue braid for the hair thing was creative, but everyone clocks her and consistently bitches about her big ass drag earrings not using super glue and falling off.
They keep falling off. And I'm just going to say this in the nicest way I know how. Like you said, be prepared. You should have those are big earrings. You should know how to wear them. And if you don't know how to wear them, don't wear them.
Don't. And here's the thing about big drag jewelry. I'm just going to say this kind of as a general thing because I don't think I've talked about it in all 75 plus now our 76 COL Drag Race show. I just want to say for the record, I'm not a big fan of big chunky jewelry. I get it. It's dramatic, but I think it looks best on big people. And I don't necessarily mean big personalities. I mean, like, if you are larger framed, if you are a larger gal, I think it's proportionized to who you are presenting. When you are smaller and it looks like you took a damn door knocker off of Chanel's front door, come on. Like, it's so ridiculous. That damn thing could be a bangle or a bracelet. Like, it's just
It is big.
too much. And the thing is, now it looks so outsized because you don't have big volume hair. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's problematic.
They look big. And that's the problem, essentially, is that they look so big. And not only that, it again, like we said, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It falls off. And there's probably a reason. I will own, I wish she would have not, like Ginger even says, like, I wish she would have just not worried about him and took them to fuck off.
Well, at one point, I think it's right before this shot is taken, Ginger had her arm around her, and so Raja was facing more to camera, like her shoulders were. And then Ginger had moved her arm, and Raja's right earring clung to the fabric sleeve of Ginger. And I was like, yeah, that's not awkward.
No.
So that was the thing.
Like, I just want to, like, just if you're looking at this picture, so look at Ginger and look at the size of her earrings. They're pretty big, but you don't notice how big they are.
Right, I'm not distracted by them, and
Yeah.
you know they're not just looking out of context, like just not going well with things.
I will give Rasha some credit though. She's got a really nice face.
Yes,
Yeah,
and she's mugged mostly appropriately to camera, you know, to spot where the lens is, so that works. I'm not really sure what was going on with them, but. And then we finally get, because we're going in alpha order, we're at Scarlet Envy, who was the first queen shown to actually start the challenge. And Raja, the original, so to speak, appears as the surprise twist. I'm wondering if there was a memo to the queens that were returning about what colors to wear, because they all seem to, like, kind of be matching to the environment of the set, like... Not blending in, but like it's definitely in a motif of some sort. And it's an issue for me because there's this like flannel like throw on this red velvet couch. It sort of matches Raja's like pant like suit outfit thing, and I'm just like I kind of wish Raja had worn white. I think she would have looked fucking brilliant in an all white suit with her gray hair and those red roses, but that's just me. This picture's really cute. I think Scarlett's looking very like penthousey, like those old calendars that the mechanics used to have in the garages and stuff. The only thing my criticism is about it, the more I look at this picture, the more I'm paying attention to the fact that Scarlett has all of her weight to her knees. So when you're looking at the couch line where the cushions are, and her legs are kind of kicked up, like that cushion is now like curved and kind of curved up, and so it's not a horrible thing, but it's just, to me, it's personally distracting. Like, if I were the photographer, I would have been telling her, like, move yourself back a couple inches, like, be a little more centered, come a little more towards Raja, like, put some more weight into your legs so that the cushion stays flat as opposed to, like, looking like you're falling over or something. Yes, I know, Eric. People have been kind of commenting on that Scarlet Envy looks like the Daniel Radcliffe, Blair St. Clair love child. I will say this about Scarlet Envy, just as a general opinion kind of thing. I think her face can be great for her and can also not be great for her. I think she needs to be a little careful with how she paints her mug, because sometimes she has very angular features. And so to me, she looks very masculine, and she doesn't have like a feminine rounded softness about her. And I'm not saying that all women have to have that, but it's difficult to deliver, I think, the illusion of the gender if you look like a man who just, did paint by numbers. And in this picture, she looks pretty good, but it was hard for me in the episode because there were moments where I was like, oh, she looks like a boy. She looked like a man. She looked like a man in a dress. She looked like a woman. Like, it just kind of bounced around a little for me. So, and then I'm not even wanting to talk about this outfit because it was misproportioned for her. Like, I mean, I could practically see her nipples. That was an issue for me. Sugarcane is with Jasmine Masters. This is actually a funny picture to me. You know Jasmine's going to deliver good energy. There's motion being delivered in this moment, even though I think it was a perfect still shot. I can't see any cavities or caps, so Sugar looks good. But I'm just going to own it, you know? Like, girl, you going to open your mouth that wide and advertise, you know. But I think it looks pretty good. I wasn't a fan of Sugar's hair, but that's just because it looked weird to me.
It does look weird.
I mean, and it's not so much. I mean, the color looks a little dirty, but the it's almost like it's supposed to be one of those plastic taffy kind of like wig styles, but it's not. So I don't understand what happened. I thought the whole cat bodysuit thing was a really good move, because you just don't know what the hell you're walking into for the first episode. So, yeah, I mean, I think it delivered on the fun part.
I love Jasmine. I so wish she had like more of her shit together.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Then we move on and we have Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Almost the biggest amount of letters in a name, but I think Akira Chanel Davenport might ever beat. She is with Mariah Paris Balenciaga,
who has the longest name in Drag Race history.
I really do think this is a good photo. I was quite surprised. Silky knew what she was going to do. She had a concept, and I get it. Like, you know, they're both looking to camera. You and I did kind of say this, and so I'll say this again because I brought it up. Miss Mariah, that powder girl, just back up a little bit, just a little bit. She's, you know. The problem is, I think if Silky wasn't in the photo, I probably wouldn't notice it as much. But because Silky is in the photo, Silky looks more like a natural woman. Mariah's looking very much like a drag queen.
It's very bright. And that's one of those little problems that you tend to have sometimes when you kind of like when you get flash. If you got too much here, it's just going to flash right back, and you just it just whitens you out, as it were.
And Mariah, I mean, she looks beautiful. I'm loving this crazy, you know, kind of feather up hair, you know, and she definitely, you know, knows how to serve it and always looks beautiful and sexy. So I was quite surprised by what Silky had delivered for this particular photo.
Good for them.
And so then we get to Soju. She is Korean. She decided to femme up and do for her entrance look that she is let me think about this because I'm going to get it wrong. She is a martial arts instructor. We'll leave it very generic because I can't remember the exact instruction that she does. But I thought that she was cute. I was like, oh, look at her coming in. I'm not really sure what this necklace thing is all about. This choker band thing. But the fact that she was matched up with Victoria Porkchop Parker threw me off a little bit. But I think Victoria looks amazing. She is literally dripping in jewels beaded into this gown.
Go ahead, Porkchop.
And I think Porkchop has finally gotten her mug done the way she wants. I don't know if you were aware, Damon, that she was on Botched. She's had her nose done, I think, a half dozen times in her career as a drag queen, and had moved to LA after the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race. And so I think the last time that she was on and kind of did something or whatever, there was like a reference, and I remember that like she had been talking about how she, you know, wanted to go on and have some like rhinoplasty done and that kind of stuff. And that was one of the first things I noticed, knowing that had been an issue for her in the past. And so I was very, very happy for her because I think she
looks great. What you can see of her.
Yes. Well, I mean, and so I thought that this was an interesting juxtaposition that Soju's in the front ringing the little bell for kind of like for service to be waited on. And the fact that it's Porkchop that's waiting on her. There was a reference somewhere else in the chat, I think earlier, that I hadn't even thought about. It said, "I'm not saying it was intentional, but the subtext is here." Miss Ginger Tea Time said that. And I was like, oh, okay. So
yep, there's that.
I know. I was like, wasn't that interesting? Then we move on to one of the funniest shots that was created. Miss Vanessa, there I go again. Vanessa Vanjie Mateo decides that it's fine that Pheromone's going to be matched up with her. She just isn't going to let anyone really look at Farrah, and makes her face the wall, and you can barely see that it's Farrah's face. But I love this fact that Farrah looks like she is pounding the wall in a hissy fit, crying. Because that's what Farrah's known for, is crying. And like Vanessa is just living her moment in the light, like looking up. I was like, okay, girl. Like,
So I'm gonna say this, and I haven't had a real chance. Like, so everyone knows that this is Vanessa's second appearance on Drag Race, and she was the first queen eliminated in season 10. And everyone knows that she was famous for one fun little thing, that Miss Vanjie thing that everyone knows about. It's a meme. It became a big thing. It was a big thing. It's probably still going to be a big thing while she's on the show. I really love this look.
mm-hmm.
Like, I am in love with this. I love this, like, short red asymmetrical dress that has the longer ones on one side. It's not off one shoulder. It's on one shoulder,
Right.
And the garters and red, pantyhose. I'm assuming, I think go into just a beautiful pair of red shoes. It just goes so really well all together, and she's just never looked good compared to when we last saw her on the show,
Right.
with the big thing and the flowers and Barbie dolls like sticking out of everywhere. It's a great little callback. So good job for her for making to me, a great redemption.
Right.
In this whole look.
So yeah, I mean, I think that she definitely had a much better entrance, like pulled together and her look on that for this new season. I think the hair is gorgeous. I think it's just a little too long. Just because the waves and the way it kind of lays and hits, she kept playing with it a lot and like kind of zhuzhing it. And so I don't know if the fact that it was falling, like it didn't have enough structure in it or enough hairspray to kind of keep it a little more up, for volume as opposed to falling down. I don't know. But because that's one of the things is now her complete shoulder is covered up by the hair, but it always will be. So it's just a thing for me. What are you doing? Reading Philip's live chat comment?
I'm reading Eric's chat comments. We'll have to bring that up. We'll have to bring that up later.
Yes, we will. We will definitely talk about that. Yeah. So Vanessa, notably, when Rue was asking her what the motivation was, Vanessa's like, "We prostitutes." Like, just flat out, like, and then she says as she walks off set, "Why did I go the prostitute route?" Like, she was mad at herself for deciding that was the storyline of this picture, which I thought was funny.
Nice.
And then last but not least, Evie Oddly, who I actually am very intrigued by, is matched up with Adore Delano. And I was like, well, if you can't get Alaska and you can't get Sharon Needles, then Adore is just perfect for a crazy, like punky kind of character, drag persona. And I was very happy to see Adore back. Rocking these crazy, like Kiss-esque, style boots. What's not really evident in this picture is the fact that Adore is ringing the shit out of a bell for some reason.
Yeah.
In this particular challenge, Evie looks amazing in that emerald green color against all this red as a backdrop, so she really pops.
FYI, red and green are complementary colors.
Hence, they're very
Take
popular.
your art class.
Yes, hence they're very popular at the holidays.
Yeah.
So no, I mean she looks really well, and Adore, of course, is doing an amazing job. So yeah, this one was kind of living it for me.
I like the picture. I'm not a big fan of Evie. So of the queens so far, She's the one that I'm not the biggest fan of right now.
Okay.
But it's just again, her name kind of gives it me. She's odd. I don't quite know yet what to think of her yet. So we'll see. The whole car driving in entrance thing seemed kind of gimmicky and amateurish in a sense. I'm not a big fan of this dress. While I like the color for the sake of this challenge, it works really well because it's the compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that she's a perfect package by any means, but the fact that she's such a standout to me makes her more memorable. Whether or not she will go far in the season remains to be seen. I agree that her entrance was strange and different, but notably memorable. So it's kind of a teeter-totter seesaw issue for me. Like in some ways it's up, in some ways it's not so up. This particular gown was not a fan of mine, as it was in Fashion Photo Review. I think Aquaria's comment was, all right, so from like the waist up, good. From waist down, hell no. It just, it kind of hung there. It was a little too long. There was just something very odd about it. So yeah, I think that it was pretty good. So overall, the mini challenge goes rather well. Mm-hmm. The winner is, wait, before we get to that, I suppose I should do this just in case. So for some of you who have not necessarily seen the show yet, because it just happened on Thursday, please be aware of the fact that the rest of this from here on out is basically going to be this. If it ever plays. Maybe. Spoiler alert, honeys. We're going to be talking about who wins, who goes home, all that jazz.
Yeah.
So just
all that shit.
Please be aware. The winner is Silky Nutmeg Ganache.
Ganache. She
gets a $2,000 gift card to Arta Wigs. That ain't no small change, kids. That's
no, it is not.
A notable prize to win.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a mini challenge.
Yes. So I was quite proud of Silky that she won. I think, as we said earlier, that Plastique Tiara's picture was a top contender as well. Possibly better. Maybe not.
It was better. I'm saying it right now.
There we go.
Shaded, whatever you want to call it. That's some tea right there for me. Plastic was better.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit more well composed. The fact that it was centered right on with the couch, that kind of stuff, it worked better.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Damon, to move on to the main challenge?
Yes, let's.
Okay.
This week, we challenged our queens to create their own legendary looks using materials from Drag Race royalty.
Have a girl, put the bass in your walk.
All right, so the challenge is create signature looks for materials belonging to former RuPaul's Drag Race legends. Mm-hmm. So enroll 3 carts with 5 trunks each, themed to a former queen who has already competed, possibly won, done very well, is very notable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I loved the concept of this challenge. I was like,
I did too.
Thank the maker. There is a new idea in a new season. Is it a sewing challenge? Is it a costume, like attire creation challenge? Abso-motherfucking-lutely. But it's different that you have to use the materials provided, which are in essence representing a former queen that is well known.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was really good. And Silky, because she won the mini challenge, gets to pick her trunk and everybody else's.
Yes.
And I was like, and here we go, girls. The competition is on.
There we go. This is how it goes. The only downfall essentially is that you don't know anybody yet. Well, you may know queens, you may know, but you don't know anyone else.
Right.
So you're kind of, how do you play this game? You know, how do you, is this a strategy or is it not? But whatever, what can you do?
Right.
Are we ready? Are we gonna talk?
About which part? Because I know you got a critique about this picture. So,
Oh yes.
not that you have
Like,
to
can
say
we
it
move
now,
that?
but
Can we move that one trunk? I don't know whose trunk that is. I think it's anyway. Doesn't matter.
Bendela Cremes.
No, the one on the black one.
Oh, the one up on top is Violet
Yeah,
Chachki's.
yeah. So move Violet Chassis over this way or whatever, or that way, however. No, because we're blocking the body of the pit crew member in this shot. Like,
Yes,
come
that's
on,
true.
production staff. Like,
Yes,
would
because
it have killed you to have just like done like what you did on the other cart, which is where it's more in the middle ish?
yeah,
Although Peppermint's cart, wow, I
Peppermint's
just
trunk
realized
is big.
I know.
No intentional shade on that one.
Mm-mm.
No, I do agree that Bryce and Jason are easily seen, and the new gentleman, I can't remember his name, over on the left, he is covered up mostly, by the trunks. So yeah, I thought that this was a fun challenge. I love how they're all different shapes, sizes, designs.
Mm-hmm.
The whole concept, if you hadn't seen the show, is that when drag queens travel, sometimes their luggage gets lost and they have to rely on their sisters to help them get it together so they can still perform. As I
Mm-hmm.
was just listening to a podcast episode that Katya does, Katya and Craig, it's called Whimsically Volatile. It was funny because their guest was actually Meatball, who was on season 1 of Dragula. It was funny that Meatball and Katya were talking about this very issue, that when you travel and your stuff gets lost and then you have to like deal with, whether or not you brought your makeup, do you have something you can use, borrow someone else's hair. So this is based in reality on the fact that as a traveling queen, your shit may not end up at the destination.
Yeah.
So I loved conceptually this idea that you get, that they were assigned, and then, I thought maybe there was going to be pre-done outfits in like an adjustable, stretchy material, big girl size that you could maybe work with. But instead, which I think was better for them, they got bolts of fabric based off of the look that this queen tends to provide, along with some accoutrement and some accessories. So I think it gave them more opportunities than limiting them to, like,
Yeah.
if you were Bianca, you didn't get stuck with a tube dress. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not
Yeah.
criticism. I mean, I'm just saying, like, so
Minor shades.
it,
No. Well, like
facts
you know,
are facts, America.
like Violet Chachki's, you've got you could tell it has the very burlesque kind of, idea behind it. There's probably a corset in there or two. If I remember correctly, I think Scarlet Envy got hers, and
Correct.
there was a oxygen tank. Yeah. And like if you look at Bendela Crum's box, there's all these pretty pink and whatever hearts, and she's always been very bubbly and what have you. So we all kind of get that. It works.
Right.
I'm assuming, that Sherry Needles box there at the bottom, on one side of that. So you get these like signature like things that they're known for,
Right.
without, like you said, necessarily confining them to like, here's one of Sharon Needles like looks that she wore, like her witch outfit that she wore in when she came in with the hat and stuff. We're clearly giving them something to work with.
Right.
But
Yeah. So the fact that all 15 queens get assigned 15 alumni trunks to work out of, I thought was sort of genius. It gave them a direction to go. They knew that they needed to present themselves. The task was to create a signature look from the materials that belong to a former alum. So you are not meant to duplicate or replicate an alum. You just need to utilize what they're most, well known for. And I thought that was a really good, concept of the challenge.
thank you, Eric.
Though some of them didn't get that.
So in the live chat, Eric said Eureka lost hers, and she literally had to go out in a tan bodysuit, borrow makeup, and glue jewels to her bald ass head, and work the stage like no other. Like, it happens, and That's one of the things you always worry about is like, oh shit, my shit gets lost, you know?
Right. And notably, like, I mean, James Mansfield has a YouTube channel I subscribe to, and within the past 2 or 3 weeks did a dollar store makeup challenge where she spent like $30, I think, on all this different makeup and then attempted to paint her face with, you know, less than traditional / subpar makeup products, you know, and put a full face on. And she kind of talked about the fact that like some queens have had to do this. Like you get to the end of, you know, where you're going and you ain't got no time. And of course, you know, Sephora ain't open, girl. Like, so you gotta go buy some stuff because your shit didn't travel with you, or make it to the other end. So yeah. So we're going to take a look at what these runway looks look like. And
well,
Damon and
first
talk about some stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah. We'll talk about. We'll go through them and talk about it. Go for it.
So, in alphabetical order, we have Akira, Chanel, Davenport. Her trunk was Bibi Sahara Benet.
So I will say this first of all. I don't see Bibi in this. So what I do see is Storm. and given that it's Storm, I get Dax exclamation point.
Correct. I do not disagree with you. I was not a fan of this, even though the chaps were better fitting than some other Queen's chaps in the past. I just wasn't really moved by this, and if anything, I was super annoyed by two things. One, this white tuft like hair hanging down from her like pony mane thing. It looks like it kind of fell out. I don't understand. It also looks like the whole thing is a little lopsided. This is one of my issues I'll come back to in another queen or two on the runway. They got this like high straight hair that's meant to be like faux hawkish or whatever, but it kind of looks a little crooked. And that's very annoying to me because like, bitch, put the shit on perpendicular. Like understand what straight up and down is.
Yeah.
And Rue compliments her greatly that she didn't have 2 wigs, not 3 wigs, not 4 wigs, but 5 wigs.
5 wigs. Yeah.
Not worthy of a compliment, in my opinion. I do not care about the dark brown curly wig hair that is hanging down next to your booty as you walk away back down the runway, because it makes me wonder if the hair is that colored because it is in the way of your butt.
Woo! Woo!
Not a fan.
This tea is delicious.
Moving on. Miss Ariel Versace, she got Laganja Estrange's box, or trunk, I should say. I have to agree that she looks more like she's serving poison ivy than Laganja in some ways.
And I'm actually okay with that. It's kind of the poison ivy meets the Laganja, like, you know, thing. It works. Obviously, she probably had a lot of green fabric because, you know, grass is green. Come on, grass. And
yeah,
it works. I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it. It was decent. She did a little reveal, if you remember. So, yeah, it's okay.
I didn't dislike this. There's only one thing about Ariel, and I think this is going to be a generality about her style and her aesthetic that I don't like, and it's her hair. Her hair apparently is always going to be big, bold, pageant, bigger than God kind of hair. And it bothers me because it makes her look like a bobblehead doll. Like it makes her just look very disproportioned. She's already a diminutive kind of size, it looks like. So I'm not a fan of tiny little girls with big, huge volumetric hair. Like it bothers me. I'm like,
she needs to work on her proportionizing.
You know, so, and her personality needs work too, but that's a whole other issue. So, Brooklyn Heights, Miss Canada herself, the Canadian Mountie or Mounter, yet to be determined, who now lives in Nashville, was given Detox's trunk. I have to agree. I thought that this look and this was well executed. It's interesting, though, to me, because the concept was to use the materials not to duplicate or mimic said queen. And when she first walked out, I was like, well, that's Detox. Like, I know it's Brooklyn, but that's Detox. Like,
Yeah.
Detox would wear this. So,
Yeah.
like, so
It
well
looks
executed. I'm kind of questioning if it meets the challenge. Like,
well. It looks really good. I like it. I personally love it. Like I'm a fan of this sort of latexy superhero, kind of look. But I agree with you that it does kind of scream almost Detox. But you know, it kind of my feeling on it is I don't really know Brooklyn yet.
mm-hmm.
And all we know kind of right now is she's a Canadian that's moved to Nashville and does drag. She seems to be tall. We mentioned the whole trade thing earlier because she's kind of cute as a boy. Not gonna lie. And so like that's really all we've got, and we get this look, and she did according to what she said, she made the bodysuit, which is kind of very nice to hear and know that she can sew and do things. But yeah, I feel you on it that I'm definitely getting more Detox than I am Brooklyn. But is that because I really like Detox is a legendary look queen? Now, again, if she had turned around and the ass had been like cut out, or like there was like a peekaboo like moment behind that cape, I would have been like, oh, well, you're just fucking Detox all the way around now. So,
All right. Yeah, I will grant you that would have been definitely crossing the line and pushing into impersonation as opposed to, originality. And I agree with you. It is difficult to know, like, if Brooklyn Heights here is delivering, like, an original, like, kind of true Brooklyn, look, or if we're kind of getting some mimicry. I agree that, yes, the fact that she did this, herself and sewed it together kind of showed up the rest of the girls. As Eric says in the live chat, it was well executed. It's a bodysuit, though. And I hate how Michelle read other queens and praised this.
get that tea, Eric. Grab that tea.
Exactly. If there's anything we've learned about the judges, they are inconsistent in their opinions sometimes during the edit, where they say one thing to one queen and not the same thing to other queens. So
I'm just going to say it right here and now. If a certain someone who we're going to talk about her in a minute, had come in just a bodysuit. I mean, hell, we got a whole bunch of fucking bodysuits. Let's just put that out there in this episode. We got a whole bunch of bodysuits. So where do we draw the line, Michelle? Like, it's okay for Brooklyn to wear a bodysuit because it's
right.
What?
Because it's latexy, because it's like curvaceous, because it's well made, because I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway,
so
right along.
then we get to Honey Davenport. She had Ben de la Crème's trunk. The print pattern is very Ben de la Crème. That's about all I got out of this.
The flower in the hair, the big flower kind of works. Is Benny.
Yeah, but Bendela doesn't wear like a begonia as big as her head. I think the flower is a little more proportional to her big hair. So
true.
It's
okay.
I don't like it.
I think she was safe, wasn't she?
Yes, I can't quite recall.
I think she was on. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Where's my notes? Hello, notes.
It's okay. Notes. I was like, wow.
Yeah, Honey was safe.
Yeah. She got lucky, I think.
I will own that. I think I agree. Like, let me just I'm going to point some things out. So first of all, it's too long. Like it just feels too long. It's over the knee, which seems kind of weird for a dress that's looking like this. That big ass flower on the head is far too big. It would have been, if you had taken it down like half that size, it would have worked better for the hair that she's presenting.
Correct.
And the look that she's making. That shoe is it's a traditional pump, but it works. It's okay. I would have liked the um, bow or ribbon that's tied around the waist to be a little bit higher, just a little bit. Like the so yeah. But at least he didn't do a bodysuit.
Yes, well, that is the one saving grace. As Eric said, she's just lucky there were worse looks because it was just too safe.
Agreed. It is very safe.
So, Miss Kahana Montrese.
She had conscious. Can you tell?
Not quite. So yes, she had Katya's trunk.
So I think we found out in Untucked that she didn't use a lot of the fabric from our stuff from Katya's box per se, if I remember them talking about it correctly. So there are so many things wrong with this. And I'm glad they clocked her, first of all, on the damn stones on the tights not going all the way up. That is a big, big, big no-no. Like, if you're going to wear like sheer to waist tights, or if you're gonna show off past that area where like a control top or a pantyhose would be, you have to make it look like the rest of it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're gonna stone the tights, you have to stone them all the way up to the top. If you're not gonna stone them all the way up to the top, then you need to wear something that covers it up.
Right.
She would have done a lot better instead of wearing this whatever this is, and done like a short. If she had done a short, I bet she would have been clocked as much.
If she'd done a skirt.
Or a skirt, yeah.
Like a cute, flouncy little mini skirt, wraparound number. Something else.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Although Aquaria clocked this in the fashion photo review, Aquaria lost her ever-living mind, booted it within 3 seconds, and tore up the photograph. She was livid about this. And the reason why, kittens? Miss Kahana wore the same bra she wore in her entrance look onto the runway. She did not change clothes.
Oh.
And Aquaria clocked her for it and said, absolutely not. Never wear on the runway what you wore in for the entrance.
Ooh. Okay. Now you're going to make me have to look.
And it's true. It's the exact same bra. That black with the sparkles and oh yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Now that I think about it. Ooh.
So
speaking of the worst looks, yeah, this is one of the worst. This is just so, and it doesn't fit.
Yeah,
like I'm just looking at it again, like it doesn't fit right. It doesn't look right. The tights are wrong. She should have gone with a darker tight. Maybe worn the same fucking tights she wore in the, in your entrance look. I mean, you are wearing the bra. Might as well just match it.
Well, and then Aquaria also hates these tights. She says she calls them pimple tights. Raja was like, "What is that?" She goes, "They do. They look like pimples all over the place." Like, so Aquaria was not having it. Was not having it with her with this look. Yeah, she read her. She read her big time. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's just bad.
It was just. It is. It's bad. It's not good. Period. End of story.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Mercedes Amon Diamond. She had Bianca Del Rio's trunk. The only thing that is Bianca Del Rio about this is that pattern that she used in the top and the belt. That was the end of it. Mm-hmm. This look does not work. It has so many problems. She looks chunky, short, squat, fat, boxy. Mm-hmm. No, girl. Just no. No. And I am so happy that Michelle clocked her on the makeup. Because the moment she hit the runway, I was like, whoa, I haven't seen makeup this bad since Jinx Monsoon. And Jinx Monsoon's makeup didn't look horrible. It just looked off. And then we figured out that she was painting for stage theater, not for camera. Yes, I know. But she turned that corner, and I was like, girl. No, like nobody told you? Oh, that's right. New season. You all aren't like friends
All
yet.
stars.
Right.
You're not even friends yet. It just don't look. Her makeup just does not look good. I'm just gonna own that right now. It does not look good. It as Michelle or someone mentions that she's very like bright. Like the highlight is very high. And again, these are girls that don't necessarily know how to paint for the cameras and the lights and what have you. So hopefully over time they will learn better. This I'm kind of, and this is just going to be me. I'm going to say this now. I would have liked whatever this capelet thing on the bottom, if she had made it a skirt, and kind of like a not maybe not asymmetrical, but like a asymmetrical where it's longer in the back and in the front,
Right.
And maybe not those boots, because those boots are cutting her off at a weird angle.
They're up over her knees. They cut off her legs. They make her look like an amputee in a really weird way. And the cut of the panty line on this like bodysuit thing that she made or whatever is just wrong. There's just
yeah. It's just too much. It's just too much, and I can't with this. I would have rather had taken that necklace that she's trying to wear and done something either in her hair or done an earring or something different with it, or just honestly just taking it off because it just looks
she would have been better served, like you said, if she'd made a skirt out of the fabric and then had taken the belt and actually put her hair up with a band of fabric. That's a Bianca Del Rioism you could have easily taken. I couldn't help but laugh, David, because Eric said in the live chat, the lights be on, but nobody home. I think we're going to find out she lives in her own French vanilla fantasy as well.
Nice. There we go.
But she didn't have Valentina's box. She had Bianca Del Rio's. So
it's okay.
There's that.
Same fantasy.
Then we get to Miss Nina West from the heartland of the country.
Okay. All right.
So
here we go.
Here's my thing. Nina comes out. I was like, what in the hell did you do, girl? You were backstage. You were in the workroom. You were starting to freak. Brooklyn is with you. There's all this stuff. Confessional to camera. Comments are made. See, I am clutching my pearls because I cannot believe this is happening. Nina admits that she doesn't really sew. So.
Ready?
It looks.
Are you ready? I'm going to get this out. I'm going to say this now.
Go right ahead, David.
Repeat after me. Learn how to sew. Like, I don't know how many times we have to say this shit on the show. I'm going to say it every single fucking time. Because she ain't the only one. We find out she's not the only one. Mm-hmm. But, and she does say, oh, I learned how to sew, but I don't know how to learn so well. And I'm like, okay, well then. But, okay. All right, Nina, I love you. You know, I'm from Ohio. Well, not from Ohio, but I've been living in Cincinnati for years. I've known about you for years. Mm-hmm. You've been trying to get on the show for 9 seasons. 9 seasons. You heard him.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You heard him. You should know how to sew, girl. Like, you should know. You have been doing this you have been trying to get on the show for 9 seasons. You should know better. Mm-hmm. Know better. And then you come out with this.
Now, to be fair, Nina's trunk was Thorgy Thor.
I don't care.
No. She got a little bit of a saving grace that Thorgy is not known for couture. So True. The upside is she gets to sort of look like a mess. And it's not going to be clocked like she didn't give an homage to the queen that she got the trunk from. I'm just going to say it like that. However, Miss Nina West.
It's just the thing I keep saying. I'm said it and I'm going to say it every season. We know by now. This is one of the main reasons why I have never been on the show, because I don't want to learn how to sew.
Right.
And I don't want to get on a show and look like an idiot or look like a fool trying to hot glue, tie, whatever, something together that I can script together to put on this. No.
So it's a problem. And
she got clocked for those damn shoes.
Deservedly so, in my opinion.
Deservedly so. Oh,
Miss Nina West, I'm going to say this. You're kind of cute as a boy out of drag.
yes, you are.
Like you got a little bit of a chubby face, which is slightly problematic to me because I don't know why you're not contouring underneath on your neck as much as I think you should be. Just saying. But this Winifred-esque style red hair with a heat miser drag look is not working for me.
No.
If you want to take all this off and get naked in my bed as a boy, we can talk. But this right here, right now, is not serving it or living it for me, and I'm very heartbroken because you are so beloved locally in this region by people that know you and live for you. And this moment was when I was like, "Oh, bitch, she gonna go home. She gonna go home in the first episode," and I am not happy about it.
I was so in that moment, like it just. Yeah. I will say this, and I'm glad she owned it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't make some shit up. She didn't make up a story about, oh, it's Storgy, so I'm gonna be kooky and stupid and make
Right.
She owned that was not her best day and tearfully kind of admitted that this wasn't good. She knows it wasn't good,
Right?
And she kind of panicked. I understand that, so I'm glad at least for that, and maybe that's what got you points, but. We can't have this happen again.
Right. Totally agree. As Philip said in the live chat, it reminds him of Aja's terrible look when she was, when they had the superhero or the sidekick princess thing. She's given us some disaster. So
it's fucking disaster.
Yeah, it is. It's so problematic, and I have to agree. The only thing that I will say that I think actually saved Nina's ass was the judges' comments between each other about knowing that she has been trying for 9 years to get on the show, knowing the caliber that she has brought in the past, and what she is so well known for. When all of that got said, I took a deep breath and thought, she might be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not safe, but she might not go home right away. Like, this might be the scare the bejeebus into you moment that you need, girl, because that's a
girl.
That's a no.
Moving right along. Can we get that from ridiculous
that to this?
Sublime?
Yeah. So, Plastic Tiara comes out. This kind of makes me think of Bianca Del Rio, while she had Sasha Velour as the trunk. So it's all about the roses, floral, because of course Sasha being well known for her floral petal finale thing that she did. So while she got clocked for wearing almost the exact same kind of style cut outfit as her entrance in some ways.
Yeah.
And I understand that. There's a part of me that's like, that's how you play it safe, kids. If you have to make an outfit and it's the first episode and you already have an outfit on hand, figure out how to duplicate that shit. Because that will at least keep you in the game for one more week.
Yeah.
On top of it, she looks beautiful.
Yeah. She knows how to fucking paint. And she knows her proportions. She knows her size. She knows what's worked for her. I will say this right now. I don't want to see this look again. Like, I don't. Right. Like, we've now seen it twice in one episode. So we should not see this similar silhouette again.
Right. So here's the thing, Plastic Tiara. I'm keeping an eye on you. You just got to shake it up. I'm with Damon on this one. Don't bring this back. Not till the finale, and then if you bring it in the finale, it better blow me the fuck away. That's what I said to that. Raja O'Hara. She had Kennedy Davenport. I get it. I kind of see it. I also have a problem with this because she looks like she was on a pride float and she jumped off and she's giving candy to the children's.
It's like, I'm going to be awful.
Go for it, girl.
It's like a ghetto Rainbow Bright.
Okay.
Like it's just very like I won't. Okay, I won't say ghetto. I'll call it a like 70s like hot pant like rainbow bright. Like it's just very like I like it. I don't hate it. It's okay.
Agreed.
It's not like awful. I like the choices, like the blue lipstick to kind of go with everything. The choices of the pride, and again, as we know, she had Kennedy's basket, Kennedy's box,
Right.
and we know that Kennedy is known for wearing that rainbow like more than once. So it worked. It worked in a sense that good for her that she has some red and blue to kind of balance it out in a sense, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, so Eric says in the live chat, Raja D, in my opinion, should have been in the bottom 2 with this look, but my opinion doesn't matter, which is fair because, you know, we're judging after the fact. There's the only thing I have to say about this is I think that the panties, if they had been white and sparkly, would have been fun because then she would have been reserving red, white, and blue with pride colors, so it kind of would have maybe been more obnoxiously, it would have been more like 4th of July pride as opposed to this. So the fact that the red doesn't match the red kinky boots, as Philip says, ghetto rainbow bright with kinky boots.
Nice.
You know, it's an okay look. To me, it was definitely a safe look. Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't like, you know, wet myself over it. So it's there. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Then we get Scarlet Envy, who had Violet Chachki's box. It's all right. It doesn't blow me away.
She was safe.
She was safe. I had a problem with the hat. Only because it looks like somebody sat on it. I don't understand like why it looks like a deflated jelly bean. It's a little confusing to me because it's like, okay, if it's more like a French chapeau, like shouldn't it kind of be more tuffeted down? And if it's not that, shouldn't it be more inflated? Like I realize it's got like black kind of, it almost looks like something got dumped on it. It's kind of confusing to me. So.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just too long. I don't quite know what to say. Like I feel like it's too long.
The gown?
Like yeah. Don't get me wrong, like it just feels weird to me that there's this black like something in the middle of the dress that's on the chest. And since it doesn't go too far enough down, it doesn't work. There's too much of the red of the gown part that it makes it just feel wrong to me. But again, she had a box and who knows what was in it. And I don't like the hat either. I also don't particularly care for the hair. But again,
yeah,
it was safe.
And this is representative of what I was talking about, like that angular face, that like definitive jawline. Like it just, there are beautiful like hard jaw-lined women that are out there, but you know, you want to look more like Kathleen Turner in Romancing the Stone than Janet Reno. You know, like there's just like you got to soften the features, and I don't think they're quite there. And I don't know if it's more about the paint or if it's just that she has that, you know, angular kind of face that makes it a little challenging to pull that through. And I realize I'm kind of harping on it, but like it's a personal issue for me. It's problematic because every time I look at her, I'm gonna see the boy underneath Scarlet, like, and that's not what I want out of like drag. Like if the concept is to give us the illusion of a female entertainer, I'll put it that way, I'm not quite getting that. Like it's just it's reminding me too much of like new baby drag, I guess is really what this is coming down to. Like I'm feeling like you're not really kind of making the adjustments perhaps. Then we get Sugar Cane. She had Sharon Needles' box. So I think that she did okay. I agree that this rockabilly leather kind of look is all right. It's not bad. This is another high hair thing that I have a problem with.
Yep.
She had that big, huge Ouija board accessory piece that was part of the trunk from Sharon that was obviously an homage that she put up on her head. The problem for me though is that it fucked with the alignment of this hair thing. Like
it looks off. Like you said, it looks off to the side, like cocked a little bit too hard. I don't really care about this look. It's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't see Sharon, other than the fact that it's black. That's really it. Although Sharon has kind of gone this very, oh gosh, 1920. Like she's kind of changed her looks in some ways since winning her season. But whatever. It's okay.
It's
bless you.
Yeah, it's definitely a safe number, which, to be fair, if I was going to be competing, my goal would either be to win or to be safe, not to be in the bottom. So, like, if you know where your strengths are and you ain't going to be able to whip out, something that's going to wow the judges, then just stay to the middle, kids, like, at least for this 1 week.
All right.
Then we get Silky Nutmeg Ganache, who selected for herself Peppermint's trunk. Notably, as we said, it was kind of one of the larger trunks. So I thought it was interesting that Silky even said she took Peppermint's because Peppermint's a bigger gal. So in her mind, she would have more material to work with. And then in the workroom, there's all this like fuss going on about how she doesn't have enough fabric to work with. And yet she was able to put this together and like
a cape.
Like your body's covered up. You got this big cape. The front of the skirt like is the same material as the cape. Is it the worst? No. Is it better than what I expected based on the edit? Yes. Because everybody was going on about how Silky wasn't doing no work and she was bugging the shit out of everybody else. So
yeah. I will reserve my comments to the end of the show.
I will say this. She right now is delivering to me a classic trope I have seen many times of black women in romantic comedy movies. There's always this like big funny gal. It's a little Nell Carter. It's just one of these things that I don't dislike it, but it's echoing a little too much for me, like something we've already seen just in pop culture / media. So I think that's why she's okay with this. Like, again, wasn't a winner and wasn't as horrible as we possibly thought it can be. Yeah. Then we move on to Soju. Soju.
Oh, Soju.
I'll be honest, I was surprised to see her on the season. I know of her as a YouTube queen. I am familiar with her, having seen little bits and pieces of her doing Shot with Soju with other queens that have been on RuPaul's Drag Race. So she was not brand new to me. And yet at the same time, I understood why Ariel Versace kind of came for her in the workroom and was like, so are you just a blogger? Are you a performer? Which some girls were like, damn! Like, Ariel was coming for her. And I was like, well, it did seem a little harsh in a way. But at the same time, I'm like, I think Ariel was just trying to gauge, like, are you competition? Are you not competition? Like, where is this going to be? I also feel very much that she is getting compared a ton to Kimchi because they are both Korean and they both potentially are bigger girls. I say potentially because that is not technically the case, but you wouldn't know it by this outfit. Here's what I will say about this. When Vanessa Vanjie Mateo says to you, girl, show some structure of your silhouette. When the queen who went home in the first episode of the last regular season tells you what to do, you might listen.
Yeah.
It might benefit you.
It was one of the things where they pretty much the main reason not the main reason, but one of the reasons they sent Vanessa home was because it looked like she was a flower with legs and a body sticking out, like top, And there was no fight. And that's to me, I hate, that's kind of a cop out to me. That's very fashion than it is drag to me, but whatever. But this is by far one of the worst looks I've ever seen on this runway. Like, I get what she was going for, maybe, possibly. I don't know that, she talked about how there's this specific Korean type of dress that women wear that's kind of meant to be like this, and it is meant to be so you don't see the body per se, whatever. I get that. Totally understand that, can respect that from a cultural standpoint. But when you have to explain so much about something that you don't get, that's where the problem lies. These people don't know what you're talking about. They don't know your culture. They don't know this culture. They don't know what this is all about. All they see, and I'm just going to be blunt, is someone that doesn't know how to sew and tried to wrap as much fucking fabric around them as they could.
Right.
In a way to kind of, I don't even know, like to try to be safe. No, it wasn't even safe. It just was bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a thing. Moving on. Hang on, sorry. Then we get Miss Vanessa Vanjie Mateo delivering high drama. She had Valentina's trunk. I thought it was funny that there was a red mask type thing in the trunk.
Yep.
And she did kind of put it on her face briefly, but decided not to go through with it, which I thought was a smart move. She definitely is surfing up something here, and I'm not mad about it. I was quite pleased with the fact that it's dramatic. There's movement from it. There are flowers in the hair. There's lace. There's pattern. It's definitely far better than what she had in her first season.
Yeah. This looks really good. It looks good on her body. It's a similar silhouette to say that Plastique did, but it kind of works really well. I'm not hating it. I wish she had done something differently with the hair just to get it a little bit more out of her face. But other than that, I'm not hating it.
I don't know if I like the black lips. I mean, it goes with the outfit, but it's a bit jarring. On her mug compared to
potentially, yeah,
the other stuff. I think I would have been happier with red, personally. But Eric says in the live chat, I was hoping to God she'd walked out in that mask and ripped it off coming down the runway. I think that would have been fun too if she had come out and maybe even put black beading on it. You know what I mean? Or better yet, if she had been able to replicate it and put two of them on. You know what I mean? Put a red one on and a black one and rip the first one off and throw it off the side. Take the second one off, rip it off to the side. You know what I mean? For some drama, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And number 15, Evie Oddly had Alaska's trunk. I found this very interesting because to me, this is not what I would think of when it comes to Alaska. I don't think of these colors. But I get the homage of using an unconventional material, in this case what looks like cellophane wrap, which I think is kind of hearkening back to Alaska using trash bags and plastic in that case. Honestly, I don't have a problem with this. Given that her name is Evie Oddly and she's meant to be different and kind of pushing things, she came walking out with a bald head with pink glitter, painted on it. And this whole thing, there was only one criticism I had of this whole look, and it was the hood, of this plastic wrap type deal. It was meant to be more structured to stay above the head and in place, but it kept falling back a little bit. And at the end of the runway, when she goes to leave, it does that tipping backwards and falling kind of thing. So I don't know if there was a way to overcome it. It might just have been it could have very well been the material. And you probably could have hairsprayed it, but then it would have made it more matte than glossy shiny. So I don't know.
It's okay. She wasn't necessarily safe. I don't recall. I don't believe so. No, she wasn't safe. So she did a pretty good job. I will say I am okay with this look. I think the skirt might have been a little bit longer, but hey, who knows what she? Again, we don't know exactly how much they had to work with.
Right.
But other than that, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. So for me, this wasn't a disaster, but I mean the jewelry, the big chunky black and diamond jewelry is a little questionable, given the color motif of what we're looking at. But so David, you said your thoughts on the maxi challenge / runway were repeat after me.
Yep.
I said getting on RuPaul's Drag Race is not enough, ladies. And this is always the challenge that seems to prove it. Just because you got plucked to be one of 140 does not make you a high caliber queen. And I know that that's really critical, and it's like possibly bringing some hate back. But here's the thing. It's season 11. This isn't season 1 through 3 even. Like, there's just a certain point where you have to recognize, like, walking through those doors, you need to be more the complete package than any queen ever before. Period.
Exactly.
And maybe some of these queens are a little delusional. I'm not sure. That remains to be seen. But I agree with you, Damon. Know how to sew, know how to put something together, understand how your body works, understand how materials work. Like,
yeah.
And as has been said in this very episode, some of these queens, they get lost in their own head. They're overconfident, they're underconfident. They think they know better, then they find out they don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to kind of put it into perspective, like, there's some very I will just based on what I've seen so far. There's some really very talented queens in this season.
Yes.
Like, we can't deny that, just of what we've seen so far in the first episode. However, the problem is you also need the other parts.
Yes. You do not have to be a complete package, but you should be moldable into it. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you come walking through the doors and you're already at a 75%, you got 25% to go. By the time you leave, I would hope you have ascended and gotten better, so you get up to like 90 something. So that way when you're leaving, you are one of the remaining queens towards the end, and everyone is pleased with like how you've improved and you've taken notes and you've gotten better. If you're not already at that, 90th percentile, so to speak.
Like, you have to think about it this way. Not everyone's a Bianca Del Rio, Bob the Drag Queen that have this very kind of like almost when they came on, like 80% like packaged together,
Right.
Ooh. We know that, like, we know Bianca has been doing this for years and has known how to sew and has been doing, costume design and all this other and fashion design, and had a very quick wit and a very comedic wit and could perform things pretty fucking well.
Right.
Same with kind of Bob. When Bob came on, we had an attitude, we had a personality that was infectious in a sense, and I'll even give you like to me, like, when I think of like a well-evolved queen, I'll give you like a Chad Michaels in some way, where Chad had the unfortunate advantage of she's always been like a Cher impersonator, but what we got out of her was an amazing, surprisingly well-rounded queen that could bring these very different looks to life while still keeping the, acting and whatever Cher in there. She was able to push Cher off to the side and bring Chad.
Right.
So.
No, I agree with you.
Having said that, there's that.
So, the end result of the Maxi Challenge runway is the winner is Brooklyn Heights.
Whoop, whoop.
For her detox inspired look, which we already talked about. I am not mad about this. I was happy when it was announced that she won. I didn't really feel like anybody was robbed of not winning. Not that I thought Brooklyn was the clear winner, but like if she had won, looking back now, I'm not sure who I would have been, super excited about. Interestingly, Brooklyn wins a 7-night stay in Paris, France, courtesy of Mr. B&B.
Yes. Oh my God, that sounds like a great gift.
She gets a private apartment of her own to stay in for a week in Paris, France. And at first, when RuPaul says 7-night stay in Paris, I was like, Texas? I was like, what? And then I was like, no, she said France. She did say France. As in the Eiffel Tower, as in the City of Love, as in French baguettes, as in croissants, as in like the people who diet on wine and fat food all the time. I was like, girl, if there has been a time to be jelly of a winner, this might be one of them.
This is one of them. That was a good get. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yay. Good for Brooklyn.
So.
She gets to get her French-Canadian roots going.
Very true. Very true. So, are we ready for our next segment? Although I just realized I think I'm missing an audio cue. So we'll... Yeah, we'll end up...
That's okay.
Skipping past that and move on. So let's talk about the lip sync for your life. The bottom two, dun dun dun, and not quite a surprise. Miss Kahana Montrese and Soju.
Mm-hmm.
They end up having to perform The Best of Both Worlds by Hannah Montana, a.k.a. Miley Cyrus, who we have not talked about until this moment, was the surprise judge that kicks off season 11 that a lot of queens and queers lost their mind over. I don't have a problem with Miley. I don't know Miley that well. I know that she likes to swing around on a wrecking ball naked, apparently. That was a big thing a while ago. I believe she is engaged/married to Chris Hemsworth, if I have my facts right. She considers herself a semi-drag queen. She has been a huge supporter of LGBT rights for a number of years and very charitable. She is notably Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter. She was a Disney kid. She was Hannah Montana. So it was a very interesting thing that came together.
Yes.
So the fact that they had a lip sync a Hannah Montana song was a semi-surprise to me. The fact that Miley Cyrus sings it was the part I wasn't surprised. The fact that it was actually Hannah Montana, that threw me off.
Well, so for those who don't know, The Best of Both Worlds is the theme song to the show Hannah Montana that Miley was the star of. Oh,
okay.
So Miley played Hannah Montana, who, if you know Disney, which I kind of do, the idea is that Hannah Montana is the music superstar alter ego of a girl named Miley, who goes to Jim.
She's so Miley. That was cute.
But yeah, so and that's the whole idea, is that she's trying to go to school. I don't know the first episode. I don't see it all, but like, the whole idea is that she's living two different worlds and two different lives. So people think Hannah Montana is a different person than Miley. I think her name was Stewart in the show. So whatever. Yeah. It was a cute little thing, cute little episode, series on Disney Channel.
I will say that I thought it was interesting that they put her up in drag king attire. They turned her into BJ, one of the crew, like sound tech people. My problem was the entire time she was done up in boy drag, I knew it was Miley Cyrus. I could see Miley Cyrus. I could see that it was a fake beard. Like, I just had so many problems with it. She walks out to go across set. She has not got her boobs strapped down. She's obviously like a small A-cup girl with her boobies like bouncing around as she's walking with all black on. I was like, girl, come on. Now, notably, when she's actually on set, I think they finally did strap her breasts down and flattened them. I couldn't tell very well, but prior to that, it was so obvious that like they were not.
Yeah.
And I was like boobs are a big giveaway. Hello. Even though she's got a jacket on and all this other stuff. So, this whole thing that she was going to not, like, she was going to sneakily be there. I was worried that she was going to get in and get out without being spotted. And that was going to piss me off because I'm like, it is kind of obvious this is not a man. And the other thing was when she walked out of the studio to cross the lot, Miley Cyrus got some of the whitest, most perfect teeth, a set of chompers you have ever seen on anybody. It is a problem I have with Hollywood stars in movies and shows when they're playing characters who are not from Hollywood. I'm like, girl, that homeless person has the best teeth you've ever seen on a meth addict. As a dramatic example, and it's the first thing I clocked. So Miley comes walking across as BJ, and I was like, "Oh, honey, they should have done something with your teeth, like lots of coffee,
not smile,
something." Yeah.
If you like just real quick, like, just drink this coffee, just drink it, just drink a couple cups.
So she does end up helping on set while the girls are painting to get ready. She's helping either Akira?
I think it was Akira. I think it was Akira, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was helping Akira with her sound pack or whatever. It was a bullshit made-up thing just to see how close she could get with the queens. And that's when Silky stares her down and clocks immediately something's not right. And that, to me, was the funniest moment of the whole goddamn episode.
True.
While Silky's behavior is a whole other issue for another time, and her personality is like beyond bounds, and she served a lot of television. That moment cracked me the fuck up when she clocked Miley, and instantly, like, you see the wheel, it's like 1, 2, boom. Like, she immediately clocks and realizes that this is like, a celebrity in disguise and all that. The shenanigans with giving her a piggyback ride and all the rest of that shit I thought was way over the top.
Again, I'll be talking about that later.
Yeah. So Miley Cyrus is the surprise judge. I loved the fact that they tried planting her in there. I also love the fact that she was like Lady Gaga and Christina Aguilera, that she's kind of like a big fan of the show, and she talks to the girls briefly, gives them some advice. So, yes, that.
And of
that
the
part
girls,
was good.
like, she does a really good job of giving advice without sounding patronizing, which is very nice to kind of get. Not that like the Lady Gaga whatever were patronizing. It's just very cool when, like, that they're a fan of the show.
Right.
And they talk to them, even though they're famous, they talk to them like they're like real people, as opposed to like, oh my God,
right,
you're above or below me or whatever kind of thing. So,
right.
Yay to that.
Agreed. So we are in the lip sync. It is Soju versus Kahana. The dress is falling apart. Soju can't really move anywhere. She's looking awkward, more and more like kimchi, not helping. And Kahana, of course, it's all hers to lose. Like, she gets to do stunts. She gets to, dance and flail around. She gets to try to be Beyonce. Not very well. And, we're not necessarily surprised by the outcome.
Yeah. So my notes on the lip sync were dancing and not. I didn't realize that her dress was falling apart. There's a moment to me where it just becomes so okay. So this dancing and not is twofold. It's like, hey, obviously you had Kahana, who's like jumping and dancing and moving all around and is able to like move in this like outfit that she's wearing and da-da-da. And she even says that that's what she's going to do. She's going to dance the house down. And then you have Soju, who is in this very obviously not well put together outfit that is falling apart, and she can't really do much with it, and she can't really move around in it. You notice that she's like trying to pull it up and holding it around while she's doing the lip sync. I will give her props for at least learning the words and doing stuff. The second part of my dancing and not is also a problem that I have with this, and it's a problem that you're going to have to deal with when you're a dancing queen. There comes a moment when you don't need to and shouldn't dance. Like, you shouldn't move. Like, there just is a time and place for it.
Right.
If this were Best of Both Worlds is kind of rocky and poppy kind of sounding, but you could have not done as much as you did, Kahana. You were going full throttle with this, and you could have just slowed down just a minute and not dance so much to kind of like show that, hey, maybe you know the words to the song, or maybe you can actually perform and emote a song.
Right.
You know, which is where, to me, Soju had these moments where she could kind of do things with it despite everything that's falling apart around her.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where I can't, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, you've now shown that you can dance and you can move around and that you can dance, so you can, you know, rock around in a song. So what happens if the next song that you have to do is like a slow 70s number?
Right. Yeah. She didn't play all her cards, but she did pull a stunt out when I don't think it was necessary.
Exactly.
Like if the name of the game is Lip Sync for Your Life, we're back to a regular season. You just need to watch the other queens, see how they're performing, and outperform them. So if they are at a 5, you just need to be at a 6. You don't have to be at a 9 or a 10. And
Correct.
like that backflip thing or whatever that everybody was like, woo! I was like, that wasn't necessary. Not
It
at all.
so wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
You need to know better. Like obviously, no offense, like you said, Soju's not moving much.
Right.
Because she can't. She literally can't, or else the dress is going to fall off and we're going to see her AO cyst.
And as it is in this photo,
So-
you know, during the lip sync number, it wasn't quite apparent to me that her dress was falling down, like the print pattern underneath. But if you look closer at this screenshot freeze frame, it's quite obvious that it was like basically falling apart. So I was like, yeah, that's a problem. So what I said was, what a difference between All Stars and this. Talk about like expectations and coming back to reality. All Stars is fun. All Stars is a problem because we are seeing queens turn it out. And then we come to a regular season and I'm like, oh, that's right. This is like going to the local gay bar and seeing the local queens versus paying $40, $50 for a ticket to see a Rue girl. I'm not saying all the Rue girls are worth it, but there is notably a difference. Like, in the expectation of the caliber of the performance. It's not to say that you can't pay a local queen that kind of money and they'd be worth it. It's just now I had to have a reality come back to earth kind of moment and go, oh, yeah. It's the beginning of a new season. Some queens got to go home, and the ones that are in the bottom for a reason. So, yeah.
Yeah.
The end result is, dun dun dun, Kahana stays, Soju sashes away. I'm not sad about this. I would have been fine with either of them going, honestly. But
I would have been fine if both of them went.
Girl, I thought that's what was going to happen.
I did too.
In my iTunes, I swore it looked like there were 2 Whatcha Packins. And then I was like, oh, 2 queens go home? I would be so excited by this.
I would have too.
Yeah, but no.
First, and I'm just gonna. I mean, yay for Kahana for staying, whatever. But like, I would have been gagged if they had sent them both home. First episode, because and then gone back to RuPaul and them say, this is season 11, ladies. We are not pulling any more punches.
Right. Agreed.
I would have been like, yep.
So, Eric, the puns never end. So, if you did not see the episode, I guess it's probably necessary to bring this back just as a reminder for people. So, yeah, we just spoiled that Soju goes home, but what you missed was one of the craziest moments that has ever happened in Judges Panel on the main stage. Soju ends up in judges' critiques talking about how she had a difficult journey getting there. There were problems with some things. She had a medical issue. It was very confusing. She apparently was diagnosed with tendinitis, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the fact that apparently she had a cyst. You have to watch Untucked. We don't even have a whole segment right now about Untucked. But if you watch it, it's insane when Soju explains where it's located, what happened on the flight to get to LA for the Drag Race show. It was
man.
pretty crazy.
Oh.
This is what I referred to as the Vanjie moment of the episode 1. If you are the first queen to go home, you should at least be remembered for something. And this was a success on only that front.
Yes. God bless it. So you have something very memorable, Soju, but it's not your name.
So she explains that there was a cyst. Apparently it ruptured while she was traveling. She ends up talking about this. She admits at one point, thank God they put it in the edit, that she apologized for oversharing. Like, because the judges panel was kind of just like stupefied. You could tell they didn't know what to think, like how to process this stuff. It was like a cousin akin, but in a really weird, funny way, to the Roxy Andrews moment when she drops the bomb about why she's breaking down and crying on stage. Like, I get it. It's a high pressure situation. Emotions like are getting to you. Your feet hurt. Like, you're delirious. You're probably dehydrated. Like, all these things are going on. You just become a mess on stage. But Soju, baby, you just like, yeah. You went there in some weird ways, and we were just not ready for it.
I was so not ready for this, and I didn't get it like the first time through. And I was just like, "What did you just say?"
I know.
Ooh.
And in her lipstick message on the mirror, she says, shit, I can't remember what the exact quote is, but she refers to everybody else as her sisters, which you would think is Sistahs, but instead she spells it Cystahs. This is what I mean by the Vanjie moment, because Soju will be probably in memorial for at least a year or more riding that meme branding train for a while.
Yep.
Oh,
she got 80 cysts.
Yeah. That's horrible. The puns. As Eric said in the live chat, she had to sashay away. Now, I do want to say this before we move on to our last segment. So watching, is it Untucked or the regular episode? I think it's Untucked. When she goes back into the workroom as, hold on, let me look for, as Tony. As Tony the boy. I was not ready for the cuteness. Tony came walking into the room and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Tony is cute. I have not felt this way about a Rue girl, and I don't know how long, quite to this level, but Tony could get it, just for the record. And I don't say that often about a Rue girl, but as a boy, like, he's got great, nice, shapely legs. Like, there was just something about him. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I don't know. I was just quite taken.
It worked.
I was really surprised. Now, I will say this, in the Whatcha Unpackin with Michelle Visage piece, which actually was a good length. They're normally pretty short, and they kind of bug me because you can tell it's highly edited. It seemed a little extended. Her and Michelle have a good conversation. Usually it's Tony that appears, and it is Tony, but Tony notably is wearing makeup for camera and done up a little bit, so it's a little more Soju than it is Tony. But I was like, wow, very, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yes, Miss Soju has to leave. So we had 15 girls And then we had 14.
Womp womp.
Yes. So, who
Right.
knows? If a standard stunt thing happens in every season, it seems now, this may not be the end of her.
Maybe not.
She may
We'll
have
see.
an opportunity for redemption to come back, possibly to compete against some of the other earlier leaving queens. I don't know. Difficult to say.
Unfortunately, if it's sewing challenge, we may have a problem.
Oh, yeah. There's that. So let's move on to our last segment, shall we? And
Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best woman win.
even Miley Cyrus does it in the episode. That was funny.
Yes.
I was like, oh, there's the super fan. She knows exactly what happens. So
Yep.
snaps and eye rolls, our hits and misses. These are our high points and our low points. Damon, what was your snaps for?
Okay. So my snaps are for Miss Brooklyn Heights and Plastic Tiara. I think overall in the episode, they both gave me some very wonderful high points. Throughout the episode, they did really good jobs, really good looks. I think they really brought it, from the gate to now. As I mentioned, Plastique, I'm going to want to see something different out of you. Brooklyn, I'm kind of, we'll see. Like I'm liking what I've seen so far. I'm hoping that she kind of continues on this route. She was the first winner, so there's a possibility of it being a good thing. So we'll see.
Right. For me, my snaps I gave him to Brooklyn as well. Just Brooklyn from start to finish. From the entrance with the Canadian Mountie drag look through like the challenge, the photo shoot was good with Angina, to the runway. I thought she was a good complete package. It's just disappointing to me that there wasn't more competitive that way as a complete package the whole way through. I agree with you. Plastique was pretty much up there with her. So we'll see kind of, how that plays itself out. So Damon, who are your eye rolls for?
Okay. So I have 2 eye roll moments here.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
My first one is Rue to Rue, and it's, what the fuck are you wearing? So Rue comes out in this like very patterned blue number that it just feels so big and it boxy on her. It doesn't work at all. And this hair, this was a little bit of a misstep for Miss Delta Work. Maybe because she was doing her makeup, she didn't do the hair. I don't know. But this it doesn't work. It looks so awful.
Right.
I don't know what her designer was thinking with this. It just feels very off-brand for Rue.
Well, I will say this. I am 100% with you on this part, Damon. This is the picture we have up for the video is of all the judges together. So we get to see Ross, we get to see Michelle, we get to see Carson, and special guest judge Miley Cyrus, who was wearing a very interesting put-together outfit that was about breaking records. I thought it was records the whole way down because I didn't really see the beginning of her, like full length. It was mostly her behind the table. And then when I saw this shot, I was all confused because after about the bust line, then it looks a little different. I was like, all right, I don't know. The problem, aesthetically overall, is that each of these judges have a thing that's not quite working. Ross ain't wearing no socks. It's a bit of a beef for me. You're wearing black and gray wingtips with a gold lame quilted suit with a bow tie. I just see problems with it. Michelle Visage with the silver 70s, slinky number. Girl, you're not quite there, but you almost have cankles. I would have gone for a full length gown instead of to this sort of odd slit cut showing chunky knee thing. And I'm not coming for Michelle. I know she's had health issues. She just recently had her implants taken out because she has determined for herself that that is the source of a lot of her health issues over the past 20 years or whatever, as she's been trying to figure out what's going on with her. So, yeah, I just like I was looking at this photo because I wanted to talk about the Rue thing, but then I started looking at everybody else and I was like, there's a problem, there's a problem, there's a problem. As you pointed out, Carson, who's supposed to be the fashion one, it's confusing. He's wearing a sparkly jacket, but then he's wearing these torn up, like, patched jeans with these weird silver flat slippers. Like,
yeah, it just doesn't work. And like as I mentioned in the pre-show, and then I mentioned now, like this Rue, this look, this is your look for the premiere episode of season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race. It just doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It looks weird. I don't get the pattern. I don't get the print. I don't get what is going. I don't get the sleeves. I don't get like.
In the live chat, Ginger Tea Time says it looks like a bad 80s prom dress. I cannot disagree with that.
Yes.
Eric says, yes, what the fuck, Rue? It's the premiere episode of season 11. What the hell were you thinking?
No, it probably wasn't.
I will say this. So when I watch the credits, notably, Zaldi is not given credit for costume. His name does not appear in the credits at all. So, I'm not saying that there's been a falling out between RuPaul and Zaldi, but I'm pretty sure Zaldi did not do this outfit, which may be part of the reason why we're all like, what the? So, I don't like the boxy shoulders. I don't like the boxy bust line. I have a problem with the hair because it makes her look like a doll, and the makeup isn't up to caliber in my opinion. The eyebrows are sort of disappearing and non-existent. The lips in this shot are okay, but in regular standard judges panel close-up, it just doesn't, like, the pattern is actually a semi-popular pattern. If you watch the Whatcha Unpackin, Soju actually has a red, white, and black dress made of this exact same pattern that was going to be one of the outfits she would have worn if she'd gone further in the season. That to me was more damning than anything because I was like, oh, so it's not even all that original. Like, it's just a kooky kind of swirly heart-shaped pattern thing. Rue just happens to be wearing it in teal, aquamarine, purple, and black.
Okay. Choices.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So
that's part one.
Yes, continue on.
So my part two, and I just I'm gonna yell it. Well, I'm not gonna yell it, but like, it's Silky, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. So the narrative we got this episode is that Silky and she owns. One of the things she kind of says is she's looking to get a spinoff. She's looking to get her own show. She's looking to be on a show. She sounded a lot like Magnolia Crawford. Where the whole point is to just get on the show and make a name for yourself. I am livid over Silky's antics throughout the entire episode. And again, maybe it's the edit. I don't fucking care if it's the edit. You were doing shit. Her, like, wrecking ball Miley Cyrus throughout the, when she came on. Her, honestly, to be blunt, hogging all of Miley's time, as far as we can tell, during this moment where she's there for all the queens. I get that you saw it first. Good for you. But, like, there are 14 other queens in the show and in this episode. Tone it down. You are not by yourself. You are not at home.
Right.
Get your shit together.
Right.
This ain't. Where are you from?
Well,
where the fuck you from?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because Silky is apparently from Chicago, Illinois. She's 28, but that is not where she's originally from. I believe she's from the South and has recently moved to Chicago.
It came off as like greedy. Like, I get it that you're on TV now, and I get that this is a great opportunity for every local, every queen to kind of be on this show. You're one of a small pool of queens. However, Like, your antics were pissing me the fuck off. I was with Ariel for some of the several episodes where it's just like, I wish she would just shut the fuck up. She was loud. And you're a big girl. We gonna see you.
Yes.
And it's just annoying to me that you have this big ass personality and you're not. I understand there's a difference, but they're like, you're not going to tone yourself down. I get that. I understand that. But like, we should have learned from someone by the name of Eureka that sometimes you need to take some moments and check yourself before you wreck yourself. The girls don't like you. Thank you. The girls are already starting to grate on you. You're grading on them. You're not going to make friends very quickly. And this is the first fucking episode. Like, you need to, like, take it down a notch or 3.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of saving face for later.
I don't disagree with you, Damon. I have to also say that, like, Silky's bigger than life personality after a certain point was actually being put on. And I say that because there's a certain point where it was like, it was believable, like in the beginning, the entrance, like when the girls get to meet each other. The moment they clocked and they put in the edit that she did her callback and nobody repeats or answers her shout, like her callback, I was like, girl, that should be your clue. You have now begun to divide yourself from the rest of the girls. Your sisters are not with you on this and not happy about how you're behaving. So here's your warning shot, I guess, that your behavior could become problematic in the future. That if there's teams, if you get like put with other people or you have to pick partners, you are not inserting yourself and becoming like, you know, bonded to people to get along, like, and that can be problematic, I think. I'm not saying that it will be a problem forever, but there is that saying that you get more bees with honey than vinegar. You know, maybe I just butchered that, but the point is, like,
flies.
Thank you.
It's flies. You
Right.
catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
And the point is that, like, sweetness is better than bitterness. And the bitterness, I think, is being seen or felt because of the way she's behaving. Interestingly, Ginger Tea Time said, I feel like Silky was dealing with nerves. It was way too much, but I love my Mississippi sister. I can understand that, like, you know, she's fun. She can be funny. But then there comes a point where, girl, you're just pissing everybody off. Like, people are now over you and don't want to be around you or have to talk to you or deal with you because they don't know how to turn the volume down or off or pause. Like, you're just on, you're on. And if this becomes an issue in which she's only like this when the cameras are rolling, that's even worse because that it becomes all the more apparent to everybody that you are out to be a character, and that doesn't go well. As by reference point, hashtag Giagun All Stars 4. So, what? I said it. I own it. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Eric says in the live chat, there was a moment of an annoyed Nina West side eye that had me giggling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I clocked that there was, you know, there was stress happening in the workroom. Everybody's already kind of amped on a certain level because they're painting, they're getting ready to go on. Like, the last thing they need is a huge disruption, which is what basically Silky turns into with the Miley Cyrus moment. Like, I mean, it just, you know who kept their cool? Miss Vanjie. She never stopped painting her face. She was like, that's nice. There's a celebrity here. Paint,
going,
paint,
doing makeup. Yeah.
I wondered if some people would be mad at Vanjie, like because she's disrespecting Miley, but at the same time I was like, nope, she's been here before. She understands how this goes. You will meet popular people. Like, you know, like that's just like, is it
That's
cool
just how
and
it
is it
is.
fun? Yes. But, you know, she was like, I got a job to do and my job is not for my ass to go home. That's how this works.
Very true.
So yeah. That was
How about you?
That was a thing. For me, my eye rolls are really simple. I'll say it once again. Soju. She did it to herself. It's not a surprise. It's sort of a trope. First queen to go home typically is just not up to snuff. And in this case, it was because of the outfit. Like, and then the weirder thing is in the Whatcha Unpackin, she talked about the fact that she was cinched and padded underneath the dress. That she always does that no matter what she's wearing. And that the judges just never knew that she had a body and a shape and a silhouette underneath because of the way she constructed the gown. Because she, as she said, I got so in my head, I was bound and determined I was going to do this like homage design style that people don't know, that they don't understand. Like the time to pull it out would have been the finale or right before the finale. You know what I mean? Like when you're really going to have an opportunity to deliver culture. And
the time to pull it out would have been when you have like the voiceovers, you know, going on where you can kind of talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Right. So that, kids, is episode 1 of the new season 11. We had 15. We're already down to 14. It's a lot. And we didn't even really spend any time talking about all them entrances that happened. As it is, we've already gone over 2 hours, so that's not a surprise. It usually happens first episode of each season. That being said, if you would like to give us your thoughts and feedback, whether you agree or disagree, there are many ways to do that. First of all, you can go to our blog, cubsoutloud.com. You can send us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You can give us a ring-a-ding and leave a voicemail. We'd be happy to play it and respond to it at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can also follow us on social media, which happens to be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Just type in Cubs Out Loud as one word. If you would like to join the kitty cat chat over in Entourage for Telegram, you can go to tinyurl.com/Telegram. That's TELEGRAM -COLDR. And you can join us over there for conversation. We have a rule in place. Everyone's politely been obliging by it from the moment the episode airs until we record. Basically, everyone kind of keeps it on lockdown. If you would like to support COL, you can do that by purchasing merch, such as the Drag Race shirt that I happen to be wearing with a lovely crown on a bear head at zazzle.com/cubsoutloud, or you could get a shirt like Damon has on, which has our version 2 logo. You could also become a patron over at patreon.com/cubsoutloud, where you actually get unedited versions, mostly of our shows. So you get to hear the pre and the post show, the chit chat, and some of the tea that we spill off camera. In this case, you could also help promote COL anywhere you basically get a podcast. You could rate us. You can give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe. You could like us. You can subscribe on YouTube, all that jazz. Damon, if they want to chat directly with you specifically and pay you with beautiful compliments, where would they find you?
There you go. You can find me at TheaterCup79 on most bear-related sites, Tumblr even, you know, or you can find me as pup_umbra on the Twitter. Just be sure to tell me, like, who you are, and just a little notice of that. And how about you, Mr. Gary?
If they want to get in touch with me, I'm pretty much known as Gerber73 anywhere on the webs or the social medias or the apps. It's GARBEAR73. And with that, we are back to going to the moon as we exit the end of this episode of COLD.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Whew.
Oh, it's over, girl.
Oh, wow. That was a thing.
We didn't even do entrances, and we didn't even talk about Untucked, technically, in depth. So
Technically.
it's going to take a couple episodes before we feel like we're not talking for hours and hours and hours on end, I think.
Indeed. Man. All right. With that note, I'm going to go to the powder room and freshen up. Powder that cyst, apparently.
Oh, girl. Just
'Cause
no.
it's-
Just stop, please. Just don't do that.
Oh, shit.
And
I'll
with
be right back.
that, we're going to stop streaming.